Hello, my name is Gypsy Sanchez, and my NSU ID is going to be N019141150. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Office of Admissions as well as Nova Southeastern University for this interview invitation and for reviewing my submission. So, starting off with question number 1, it asks, many students look for careers in which they can help others and make a difference in their lives. Why did you choose occupational therapy, and what do you think makes occupational therapy unique? Choosing a career field was very difficult for me because I was very unsure what route would be the correct one for me. Coming from a family of clinicians was a blessing in disguise. I knew that the medical field would be the great route for me, but I was very unsure whether that was my passion. Was that something that was really going to fulfill me and make me happy at the end of the day? Coming into FGCU, I was required to fulfill some graduation requirements, which was community service or service learning is what they called it, and I decided to do my volunteering at Galasanos Children's Hospital, PPEG. The PPEG was a prescribed pediatric extended care. So the PPEG was where children from birth to 20 years old with medically complex conditions would come in for medical care in a non-residential setting. So at the PPEC, I was able to see, the different types of services that they provided for the children. They had nursing services, personal care, developmental therapies, and caregiving training. So I would see that the children would be taken off with different clinicians where they would be getting different therapies, and this is where I completely fell in love with occupational therapy, and I realized what a rewarding career it is, and I knew that from that instance, I knew that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. What I think makes occupational therapy unique is the flexibility to be able to work with different age groups, different settings. You could always work with peds, adults, geriatrics. You could work at the acute rehab. You could do home health. You could work at schools. There's just so much flexibility to find, your passion and what you really want to work on. And I think that's what makes occupational therapy unique. On to the next question. What led you to believe that Nova Southeastern University was the right place for your occupational education? So what led me to believe that Nova Southeastern University was the correct place for my occupational therapy education was, first of all, the intimate class sizes. I think it's very important for me as a student. I love that one-on-one interaction with professors. I want that personal relationship with them, and I think it's very important that class sizes are small, and Nova provides that intimate class sizes. I was able to actually attend the backstage pass with my mom, and we were able to sit through a lecture, and I loved the environment. I loved how small the class sizes were, and that's a reason why I think Nova is the right choice for me. Another reason would be I love that Nova is very big on community service. Giving back to the community is very important to me. I did it all throughout college, and I think it's very important to give back to the community, and I think it's great that Nova, gets her students involved to help out the community. Last reason why I think Nova is the best match for me is that they provide post-professional degrees, and for me, it has always been a dream of mine to get my doctorate degree. And I think it's great that Nova provides that for their students if they do get that 3.7 GPA or higher in their master's in order to apply to the doctorate. I think it's great. I think education is key, and I would love to receive my doctorate degree. I think that's an end goal for me, and I am so happy that Nova provides that for their students. And those are the reasons why I think that Nova is the right school for me and where I want to begin and continue my occupational therapy education. Moving on to the third question, it asks, tell me about a time when you reacted to something or someone in a way that you regret. What about this experience made you regretful? If you had the chance to do it over, what would you change and why? A time in my life that I regret would be when I was younger. I came to the United States. I'm originally from South America, Colombia. I came with my parents, my mom and my dad, and we first lived in Tampa. I came home from school one day, and my dad never came home. And my dad had been incarcerated for personal reasons, and I was only 7 years old tops, and I didn't understand the situation. And that's something that I always held against him. I thought that he had abandoned us, my mom and I. I watched my mom go through a lot of obstacles in her life in order to provide a better future for me. And, I shut my dad out. I never spoke to him. Once I got older, I made that step and I moved forward and I reached out to him and we started to build a relationship. And, I regret that point in my life. I was young. Children don't understand when they're young. I thought it was my fault that he had left. I thought that, I was a main reason why he left us, but I just didn't understand the situation growing up as a child. But when I fully understood it, when I got a little bit older, I realized, my dad is a lot older than my mother, and I don't know how much longer he has left with me. And if I could do it all over again, I would have just made that decision to just reach out to him a lot earlier with the time. My dad actually lives in Miami Lakes, which would be perfect because it's not that far from Nova. But if it all works out, I am able to, take back some of that lost time and spend it with him in Miami Lakes, and I could just commute to Nova. And although, we can't take back time, but there's always that possibility of remaking new memories and rebuilding that relationship that was initially lost when I was younger. Moving on to question number 4. You are working as a volunteer at a nursing home. You are wheeling the meal cart down the hall after dinner. Ahead of you, you see a nursing assistant escort a resident into his room and close the door. As you pass the room, you hear a raised voice and believe it to be the nursing assistant. What would you do? Please explain your rationale. So for this scenario, I would first of all see if I have any communicative devices where I could reach out to someone for some help. If not, then I would look around for some assistance, someone of more authority than me, because at the end of the day, I'm simply a volunteer. I would look for maybe an RN, OT, PT, someone of, more authority. If not in this case, I would go to the door. I would knock first. Barging in would be a breach of privacy, and we want our patients to feel comfortable. We want them to trust us. So then from there, I would open the door. I would, ask if the clinician needs some help, if everything is okay, if there's something that I could do to help. I don't want to just walk by and pretend I didn't hear anything. Of course not. At the end of the day, we want our patients to be in an environment that is safe for them. So I would try my best to help as much as I could. And in that case, also if the clinician, has a communicative device on them, then I would use that and call out for some help. My rationale would be, for this situation would be, I don't want to assume that someone is abusing someone else. I don't want to assume that the clinician is abusing the patient. Of course not. We don't want to assume that the patient is, being a little aggressive with the nursing assistant. So in this case, I think the best decision that I would make would be to try and help as much as I possibly could by reaching out for some help or just knocking, asking if everything is okay, and helping as much as I possibly can. So the last question is, please tell us something about yourself that distinguishes you as an applicant to our program. So something that distinguishes me apart from the other applicants, aside from the observation hours, the different types of settings that we volunteered in, would be the passion that I have. I am so driven and so ready to begin the rest of my life. Occupational therapy for me has been a life changer, and I'm just so passionate and I'm ready to begin this journey. There's a quote by Mark Twain that goes by, The two most important days in your life are the day that you were born and the day that you find out why. The day that I found out that this was the route for me, my life has completely flipped upside down. I would like to thank you guys for this opportunity. Thank you for viewing my submission, and I hope that you guys enjoyed my video, and I hope that you consider me for your summer term 2019. Thank you.